Y'all see Gene, I'm telling y'all, man, somebody better punch him in the face. Somebody better do something to him, man. He out here doing this, that, and we be like, all right.
Thank you, Roger Bonds, for putting it out there. It came to life for y'all. It came to life for y'all that this dude wanted me dead way before I came to YouTube. What he look like telling somebody to whoop my ass? He didn't tell him that. He wanted me in the dirt and was trying to rock me to sleep.
Gene Deal has been generating a lot of buzz recently, showing up on various interviews, podcasts, and live streams, where he continues to share one revelation after another about Sean, Diddy, Combs, and the hidden realities of the bad boy era that were never supposed to come to light. Even as he speaks out, Gene admits he remains extremely cautious, constantly looking over his shoulder because he understands just how powerful Diddy is and what he might be willing to do to keep people quiet. And the situation grows even more serious with this. Roger Bonds, who previously served as Diddy's head of security, has now stepped forward with a disturbing claim of his own. He revealed that he was once ordered to go after people who had crossed Diddy. This doesn't just back up Gene's accounts, it makes the whole situation significantly more alarming. This goes far beyond simple drama or online gossip. When someone like Roger Bonds, who was deep inside that inner circle, begins to speak, it carries real weight. He saw that world up close, witnessed its darker elements, and now worries that the same methods of intimidation, control, and silencing could potentially be turned against Gene Deal. What makes it even more disturbing is that Gene isn't out to start trouble with anyone. He's simply sharing his own truth about what he experienced during his time with Bad Boy, yet those truths now appear to come with very real dangers.
I've been seeing this a lot online. How you feel about the people that say that you should be worried if Diddy get out?
What needs something to say, bro. I'm not gonna worry about somebody that I bodyguard. I'm not gonna worry about somebody that I bodyguard. And God knows I can bodyguard myself with his blessings. I can bodyguard myself with his blessings, bro. I'm not worried about that. Nothing beats an ambush, and I know that. But I'm not worried about his shit. People just need to talk about something. They want to have something to say, man. Oh, Gene gotta be worried, so like that. So, shouldn't I have been worried when he was out here on the street? When he was out here on the street, I should have been worried. Yo, bro, August the 14th, 1999. High-speed chase in Harlem. You understand? How I didn't know that he didn't send nobody after me then. Because niggas do that shit. They'll send somebody at you. I've seen dudes that do shit and they have niggas right there in the same clique and they didn't even know he did it. So how I know those 4 guys, 5 guns to my head wasn't sitting by him. When Roger Bonds come and say later that Diddy wanted something done to Gene Deal. How I know? That shit made the news.
Let's examine this closely because what's happening here extends well beyond a handful of viral statements. This concerns a powerful empire facing serious pressure, an upcoming federal case, and longtime insiders finally revealing details that were never meant to become public. The more you look into it, the more concerning it gets. First, it's essential to know exactly who is involved. Roger Bonds is not just another person sharing opinions online. From 2003 to 2012, he worked as the head of security for Sean Diddy Combs. That position put him right in the middle of everything. He wasn't only handling basic protection, he was responsible for safeguarding Diddy in intense settings like clubs, award shows, and private moments that most people never witness. Over the years, Bonds didn't just provide security, he also observed closely. He saw how power operated behind the scenes, how problems were dealt with, and how influence could determine results. According to his own words, those experiences eventually became too much, which led him to leave. In recent times, Bonds has begun speaking more openly about what he witnessed during that period. And when he talks, people listen not because of hearsay or guesses, but because his viewpoint comes directly from being inside that environment.
So let me ask you a question. How long before you started working with him did you start to see like red flags and did you know like, damn, this kind of crazy? Was it like immediate, or was it like he gained your trust and you started vibing and you started seeing shit? Or was it like off the rip you knew like, hey, something up with him?
Now let's bring in Gene Deal. If you've been keeping up with this story, you've likely seen his name mentioned more frequently. Gene wasn't an outsider observing from afar. He was right there during the early rise of Bad Boy Records, at a time when Sean Diddy Combs was building the careers of legendary artists like the Notorious B.I.G. and Mace, figures who helped shape an entire generation of hip-hop. Gene wasn't merely watching events unfold, he was part of the machinery behind them. He was present in the background at packed concerts near VIP areas and in hotel hallways where major choices were made and secrets were kept. After leaving Bad Boy, Gene Deal started speaking publicly, describing what life was truly like once the glamour and spotlight faded away. What makes his story even more powerful is that his successor, Roger Bonds, later came forward as well, confirming several parts of Gene's experiences through his own time in the same role. When you place their statements side by side, the similarities are difficult to dismiss. It doesn't just make Gene's claims more credible, it reinforces the possibility that there is far more substance to his story than many first believed.
Man, listen here. I want to let this young lady know, and I know this is not the place for it, brother, but please allow me to say this to her, man. You know what I'm saying? I started this battle long time ago. And the situation is that, bruh, we already won. This was some spiritual that Pop, the spirit of Pop, the spirit of Big, the spirit of Miss Jones, the spirit of Wolf, all the people that he has done wrong, you know, so Black, all the people that he has done wrong, bruh, is coming to light. We already won this spiritual. What we going through right now with these trials and everybody, you know, with this financial situation and everything like that, all that is superficial. That's the physical part of it. The spiritual part of it was won because Big, Pac, Wolf Mother, all the people that he did wrong, bruh, you understand? They already won the battle where we were supposed to win it at. So now we just going through the physical part of it, man. And I want that girl to know, man, that she ain't gotta fear no man. She ain't gotta fear him, nobody else, man. Whenever she needs, you understand? Whenever she needs somebody to travel, to go with her, to make sure she all right, you know, I'm a phone call away, man. I'm a phone call away. And you know, go ahead with your questioning, man. I just had to get that out, man, because that girl touched a lot of people, man, because all she wanted to do was write music, make music, and show her talent and her love to the people, man. And then she got to feel this way, be fearful and scared of her life and stuff like that. Ma, I ain't scared of no man. You understand? I ain't scared of no man. Nobody that got to put their pants on the same way I do. Not at all.
And for the people that don't know who Tiffany Red is, that's Cassie's best friend.
That's one of Cassie's friends. She was writing a lot of music, and she said that she was writing music for her friends to get. Oh my God, man, come on.
And this is where the difference becomes particularly noticeable. While Roger Bonds appears calm, thoughtful, and very deliberate with every word he says, Gene Deal is the exact opposite. He is direct, unfiltered, and often intense, speaking with a raw emotion that feels more like years of suppressed truth finally pouring out than any prepared statement. That genuine quality is precisely why his interviews have gone viral so quickly. Audiences connect with the passion, the frustration, and the feeling that nothing is being held back. However, that same intensity also draws a bright spotlight onto him, one that can easily turn into a dangerous target. Because when someone isn't simply telling a story but delivering it with deep emotion, anger, and complete honesty, they become very hard to overlook. And for someone like Sean Diddy Combs, who constructed his empire around control and influence, a voice like Gene Deal's isn't merely inconvenient, it could easily be viewed as a genuine threat.
Man, you know, a leopard don't change his spots, and Diddy been doing this real long time, bro. He been doing this for a long time. And now another artist, this artist didn't wait 10 years. You know what I'm saying? He didn't wait 20 years. You understand? He waited a year or two after he stopped working with him and saw he didn't get what he was supposed to get. And he said, yo, listen here, man. I'm putting in my claims right now because I'm going to show everybody what really happened, what really went down. It's crazy. When I was reading it, I read the whole thing. Shout out to Keisha in Kansas City. She sent me the whole documentation, bro. And, you know, the whole court thing. And when I'm reading the stuff, you know, it sound a lot of it sound familiar. You understand? And what I mean sound familiar, how he would get other girls and get girls to try to, you know, convince this guy, you know, or put him in a situation with other girls so he could do whatever he wanted to do with them. And it's just like the situation somewhat with Sarah and her girlfriend and him and Ja. You know what I'm saying? Bringing girls on to try to convince this other guy to be in a room with another naked man and all this other bullshit. Yo, it all sound familiar, man. I read the whole thing, man, and it was crazy.
And for the people that don't know what you're talking about, because the lawsuit is new, so, you know, some people still catching up with it. Little Rod, he alleges that, you know, Young Miami cousin tried to have in front of Diddy.
Yeah, he went into the bathroom, and then she came into the bathroom and tried to, you know, throw herself on him. He didn't want to have nothing to do with her for whatever reason. And then when he came out the bathroom, she continued to try to do that and try to have, wanted him to have on Diddy and the rest of the people that was in there. You know, that's how they do, man. They try to use a girl that you might like or you may think you might like, or they think you might like her or whatever, to convince you to lay down your guards with them. And he didn't.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And you're not surprised by none of this, because you said that Ja Rule, they did this to him, right?
No, remember, and people got it confused when I said that Ja and him was in the room with two girls, with Sarah and Sarah's girlfriend. You understand? He was trying to get Ja to go at Jay-Z. So what he did was try to get another girl, you understand, to do something with Ja. I guess, I don't know, they in the room together. So when they, in that thing, I know what he was planning on doing because I heard the conversation.
Recently, Roger Bonds appeared on a podcast and dropped a startling revelation. He stated that Sean Diddy Combs had once directly ordered him and others to physically go after Gene Deal and another bad boy insider named Mark Curry. According to Bonds, these were not rumors or indirect accounts. These were instructions he personally received. He says he chose not to carry them out completely. He explained that he was told to target Gene and Mark simply because they had begun speaking out in public. If accurate, this creates a picture of someone responding with aggression to any criticism, behavior that goes well beyond ordinary personal disagreements. This is what makes Bonds' recent warning feel so heavy. In his view, this isn't ancient history, it points to a continuing pattern. The concern he is expressing is that if such orders were allegedly issued before, similar moves could be feared again now, especially while Diddy faces intense legal scrutiny. Bonds didn't present it as mere entertainment or gossip. His message came across more like a serious alert intended to warn Gene Deal to stay vigilant and careful. Whether every detail is fully accepted or not, the seriousness in his tone made one thing very clear. From his perspective, this situation should not be taken lightly.
As it's getting worse, you getting older. So as you getting older, you getting wiser. And you understand, okay, this stop. You know what I'm saying? None of this stop because it's nobody there to stop it. And this person is becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. So if you becoming stronger and stronger and stronger, what's there to make you stop? You know what I'm saying? Like what I feel like what he's going through now, that's enough to make you stop. You know what I'm saying? But if you ain't never went through this and everything you going through gets swept under the rug, it ain't no reason for you to stop. Bonds ain't gonna make me stop. Bonds is just another security dude. Now I see that. You know what I'm saying? But when you live in it and you going through it, that person knows how to make you feel like, yo, you ain't gonna never gotta worry about nothing because this is what they telling you, this is what you seeing. So each and every day, I'm not gonna lie, you hope that that person wakes up the next morning and a red light went off in their head. Say, yo, I got to treat better, or I got to treat a person better, or I got to do this. So that's what you're hoping. And then you get to the point where you say, yo, nah, make a change. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So one of the main things that happened was I got diabetes. Right. I was in Spain somewhere, and I kept going to the bathroom like every 10 or 15 minutes. And I'm like, what are you going to the bathroom for? Somebody said, yo, you know, if you go to the bathroom a lot, you get diabetes. Because you got to remember, we was traveling and moving so much. There was places that we would be at that you wouldn't even drink the water. You know what I'm saying? Or they say, yo, if you from the United States, the water gonna make you sick.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I've been to Mexico a few times and got sick as hell off that water.
Oh, for the water.
Yeah.
So you end up drinking sodas and juices all day long. So that's one of the things that happened. So I looked at it as like, that was like one of the ways that God got me out my situation.
So how did Gene Deal react? With something rarely seen so openly in stories like this, pure, unfiltered fear. In a recent interview, Gene openly confessed that he now feels he needs protection. He stated that the threats feel very real, that he believes people may already be acting against him, and that he no longer feels safe unless he's constantly monitoring his surroundings. Consider that for a moment. This is a man who once spent years providing protection for Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most influential people in the music business, and now he is the one saying he might need security just to feel safe himself. That complete reversal speaks volumes. It shows just how serious and unsettling the situation has become from his point of view.
Drinking and start popping and passing it to dudes around them. I left from the area and got my own table. You not rocking me to sleep. You never rocked me to sleep. Though I worked for you, you wasn't doing no dirt. That's why my days was with you when you had your kids. Because you knew you couldn't do that dirty to me. And that's a good judgment on your behalf. Roger Barnes got on that show and said, he said, yo, we seen Gene plenty of times. But we knew Puff was a and we had to live in Harlem. That's because we know the same people. When Roger Barnes talk to people about me, they gonna say Gene a stand-up dude. Gene was all right, bruh.
Gene Deal also recounted a tense incident outside a courthouse where he believes he may have been deliberately targeted. According to him, a YouTuber kept provoking him, following him around and repeatedly taunting him. The encounter eventually escalated and Gene claims he knocked the man out. But in his eyes, it wasn't just a random fight. He viewed it as part of a larger plan, an attempt to provoke him, test his reactions, and destabilize him while he was already under heavy pressure. Whether that interpretation is entirely correct or not, the fear driving it is completely understandable. When someone already feels watched and warned about powerful forces possibly moving against them, even everyday situations can begin to feel like potential threats.
Because I was starting to get sick in the situation. Like I was starting to like wake up in the morning, damn, B, I'm still here. Even though I'm in an exotic country or I'm in an exotic place, I'm like, damn, I'm still here because the energy was off. You know what I'm saying? Everything that was going on around you was off. And you were expected just to stand there and do what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's acquired of you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, that was one of the things that made me say, okay, it's time to go. So I used my sickness as one of the reasons, like, yo, you know I can't be traveling with you, and you know I can't be doing this, that, and the other. The doctor said I need to be in a stable place. I need to get a certain amount of sleep. I need a certain type of food.
So you were trying to pull away.
I was trying to pull away. You know what I'm saying? So what I did was I found that they had an opening in Ciroc.
Yet with every viral clip and soundbite, the tension continues to rise. That increased visibility has become a double-edged sword for Gene Deal. It gives him a level of public attention that can offer some protection, but at the same time it places him directly in harm's way. Right now, he finds himself balancing between the two, where the spotlight might help keep him safe or could end up making him even more vulnerable.
If you do something to Gene, you're gonna have to deal with Chaz, you're gonna have to deal with Slick, you're gonna have to deal with Cage people, you're gonna have to deal with a whole lot of people that love that name. And that's the politics. of Harlem. Roger Bonds know the politics of Harlem. So you have a homo cats out there right now that's talking all that shit. Gene paid his dues. Because I came here and talked about the character of this dude who wanted me dead. I been knew that. He ain't saying nothing I didn't know. Y'all could find somebody else to play with. That goes to show you what kind of dude this is. Instead of coming to the table to save Big and Tupac, he said, this what kind of character that y'all out here saying, that y'all standing up for. People are still alive. Eric B, Big D, Suge Knight. They was gonna squash this East Coast, West Coast before Pac, before Big was dead. He wouldn't even send a representative to the table. Not a table that he ate off of. The table that he got his millions from is having his ass for dessert. No.
How many other stories are remaining untold right now simply because people are afraid of finding themselves in the same dangerous position as Gene Deal? That has become the larger question emerging from all this. At this stage, it's no longer only about Roger Bonds and Gene Deal against Sean Diddy Combs. It has grown into a much broader discussion about accountability, about whether powerful individuals in the music industry can keep operating without real scrutiny, and whether fear will continue to silence people, or if more voices will eventually step forward despite the risks involved. Because from this viewpoint, what we're seeing looks like the gradual unraveling of an empire. Every new claim, every interview, and every viral moment adds another piece to a story that still feels very far from over.